So then you take a pinch for the coke,
Yeah.
and tell
88.
us about that a little bit.
I walked into something that wasn't mine. I happened to call a guy up and say, listen, I got something nice for you to see. And he said, come on down. That day, the FBI was, and the DEA were planning to pinch him and his connection. I just happened to walk into the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wow.
But it did help me later in life. But when I walked in, I knocked on the door. All of a sudden, I heard screaming, yelling, who the fuck is this guy? Get him down on the ground now. Because I was a big guy.
Yeah, you were.
So there was only 25 of them. And then they started asking me questions. You know, do you know this guy, where this guy is, where this guy's buried? I said, listen, just pinch me and let me go home. But they tried.
Right.
They even brought
No,
up
they
his
tried
name.
right off the bat. Yep.
They put Greg's name up.
Did they?
Yeah.
My boss.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, later on, he got big into the drug business. Not that early on, but so now you did a few years.
About a year and a half, 2 years altogether.
And when you came out, obviously you got parole, so you're stuck there. But tell us about that, because I know eventually you made a move.
Well, I didn't want to go back there and be a heat on to anybody else.
That's noble.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two is I knew that what my job would be once I was out. And I couldn't stop dealing the drugs because it was big money. So I paroled to Vegas for the simple reason that I knew nobody here but a handful of people.
Family.
Right. So I figured I'd be safe here and I wouldn't deal with anybody. And that's what happened. I wouldn't.
You know, from my experience, that's one of the last places they want to parole anybody from New York to.
Oh,
It's Vegas.
parole board had a big laugh with it.
Yeah, especially a guy like you. So you know, sending you to Sin City, gambling, prostitution,
All of it.
booze, drugs, you name it, right? And here you are. So really, in a way, you went from the frying pan to the fire.
Not knowing it that.
Right.
Of course.
Right. So you got some jobs. You tried to be legit. Bouncer jobs,
Any job that I get my hands on
security. Yeah.
because I wanted to make money.
Right.
I did some landscaping for a while too. Anything.
Ah,
You know, when
so
you come out of
you
jail,
were working. Right.
come out of jail, you're a little humble.
You're humble and you don't have as many doors opening to you.
No.
Right. Because when you
over
fill
here,
out
you did, but
oh, did you?
because when you come out here years ago, the felons were welcome. Now they're not.
Okay. When the mob ran the town.
Right. Till
Okay.
2000.
That makes sense. Gotcha.
So
All
we
right.
had, at the Crazy Horse too, we had 35 guys working that were felons.
Right. And so the Crazy Horse, that's really what we're leading to, because it's pretty much known worldwide. It's a cabaret that had an incredible reputation for its women, the people that went in there.
The money, actors,
Stars. Like you had told me that the casino, the people from casino,
the whole crew was in there
that's unbelievable.
every day.
Yeah. So, but how did you get that job? Why did you wind up?
I was in jail and I was calling my father. He was out here already. And he had a friend that knew Rick very well.
Rick is
The owner of the Crazy Horse
the owner.
too.
Okay. Rick is the owner of the Crazy Horse. Okay.
So they had hooked up a job for me already. So when I got out here, it's just a matter of waiting because they don't fire somebody to give anybody a job.
Okay.
They wait for an opening. And an opening came and I got the phone call. And then I went down and that's when I seen another friend of mine.
Right. So it's like the old days. It's who you know, not what you know. Got
Went right back into another crew.
It's another crew. Yeah. And there was a couple of wise guys, one from Chicago, one from New York,
Yep.
that were running the place.
Sure.
And Rick wasn't one of those two, was he?
No, Rick wasn't a wise guy or anything like that.
The businessman.
Just a businessman who needed a wise guy.
Right. He needed,
Somebody,
obviously,
yeah.
two.
So
Yeah.
he had
So-
Chicago, he had New York, Florida.
I pictured it after having some talks with you, with my old friend getting back with you, like a Studio 54 of the West. Because when you see Studio 54 in movies and documentaries, the cocaine, the call girls, the stars, it was just
One big party
one big party
for
every night.
everybody.
Right.
Everybody
So-
was welcome.
Were these things going on? And I'm sure they were. I mean,
Oh,
but to what extent?
Listen, there was drug dealing, there was prostitution, there was everything.
Was it the owners were allowing this? Were they earning on it? Or was it just drug dealers in there?
The owners didn't know anything about it. He was in the
Okay.
back most of the time.
Right. So the drug dealing was
He was just out there.
right. And you guys as bouncers allowed it? Or did you get a piece? I mean, I'm not trying to make
We
you
kept our
uncomfortable,
nose
but-
out of it,
Mhm.
basically, because you can't stop it.
Right.
It's going to be in there somehow. So it's just a matter of knowing which shoe it was.
Controlling it.
And then the pimps, you know, we didn't allow pimps in there.
Right.
Maybe one or two that we liked.
Right.
Because they would go in and take the money from the girls. They're brutal.
So you protected them if somebody didn't pay these girls or
Right, there was a lot of girls that came to that business from Utah and places around it that had people after them. And they knew they were safe in there. They knew nobody would be able to get in there to get at them.
I don't want to say prostitution, but high-end call girls or with the dancers also?
You know, dancers, they come in, they work for 8 hours. Then after that, they're on their own. So whoever they meet inside, sure, they make deals with and they meet outside.
And you had like an A-list of girls, B-list?
Oh, sure. And we would call them to the bar most of the time.
Right.
Introduce them to anybody we needed to do. That was the way to do it. Because you knew you were going to get your guy taken care of while he was in the club. And you knew they would make money and tip out too.
And if they didn't pay, that's, you're laughing. But I mean, you guys, from what I've heard, were probably worse than the crews in New York. I mean, you went to work on guys.
Well, you had to protect your girls. You know, they go in the back of the VIP room. After a while, it got to the point where we said, if you don't collect your money anymore, we're not going to protect you. You know, we had to try to do something. But yeah, if somebody owed $1,000 and they opened their mouth, they got what they had
They got
coming.
carried out.
Bang his head against the door a little bit, you know, on the way out too.
Amazing. What was the appeal to like the cast of Casino? Why would they go there with all the places in Vegas?
Wherever it is, girls, high-end girls and good girls that dance good and have good times, guys come, and they'll never stop coming. It was a good party there.
Right.
Plus, they were protected. Nobody could bother them.
And you had a cop. The reason I know this guy is I actually portrayed him in a TV show called The Perfect Murder. His name was Joey Blasco.
Sure. He worked on the day shift.
He worked the day shift. And he was a pretty bad guy.
They say he was.
Yeah. Well, he's gone now. He's dead.
Yeah, he passed away. Yeah. He passed away day after retirement.
The day after retirement.
Imagine
that? Yeah, I'm wondering if there was a reason for that. Because there were a few odd deaths later on. Weren't they? You guys that just got out of jail that knew too much?
Oh, the guy at Buffalo wound up with a bad heroin shot in his arm.
Mob TV. Welcome to the family.
From Hookers.
Tell us who Buffalo was.
Buffalo was the guy next door to us that would be, I could say, a pain in the ass. We were trying to move that way and make an expansion. And he was offered, I think, about $250,000 cash and a new place in the back. He was a cooperating witness for the FBI.
Already.
Already.
An informant.
He was there for a long time. And he would sit outside, take pictures. If something happened, he would take the pictures, call the FBI or whatever, and report us.
So they were documenting the beatings and the prostitution.
Right.
And
so when that guy
was going on.
fell outside,
Mhm.
him, Steve Miller, Dave Campbell were at bedside for that guy that got crippled. And all of a sudden, that was a lawsuit.
Right. Well, that's at the end. That came later on. That was the
Yeah.
downfall.
I
Yeah.
figured to bring it up because
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Talk about that. That was like, I remember you tell me that was maybe one of the most vicious beatings. The guy.
well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say he fell first and hit his head on the back because there was a step outside that was this big.
Right.
And that's where it started. And he was really drunk past,
Okay.
there's a word they use for it,
Yeah.
but he was way past that. But, you know, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Right. And
But
but he
that
did
day-
turn into a paraplegic after
Yeah,
that.
yes, he did. And Rick owed him, they made a settlement, and he never got any money.
Right. Somebody went bankrupt or something, if I remember that story right.
Well, I don't know about
Or
bankrupt.
claimed to go bankrupt.
He got divorced or something.
Yeah.
And then he came out, he owed the guy money. He owed a couple people money, and nobody ever got paid.
Nobody got paid. But they closed you guys down after that.
Or they were not going to they tried to let somebody else run it. And they figured Rick's hands were in it, and they wanted him out completely. So they just shut the whole place down.
Right. And whatever happened to Buffalo, the guy next door, the agent?
Buffalo was in a hotel, and he was found dead with a bad shot of heroin in his arm. And the hookers were gone.
That's one of them that's not a coincidence. I mean, I'm just saying that's not
Sure,
that I have any knowledge of that.
Not saying he deserved what he got, but he got what he got.
Right.
You know, who did it? It's beyond me. I don't know. But, you know, bad things always have a way of finding a bad guy.
That's the truth. So, but while you were in there had to be some good times too. I mean, obviously you had to have fringe benefits. You probably got to date a lot of these girls. Yeah, I mean, you know,
Listen, I went to the Shark Club one night with 2 girls. And we were in there drinking, and all of a sudden I see them talking to 3 other girls. I said, where are we going? She goes, don't worry about it. We're going to go back to your house. And I'm driving, and I see 3 girls behind me. I said to them, are you kidding me now? Remember, I was new at this.
yeah.
They said, don't worry about it. Well, I had 5 girls in my house for 2 days.
My God. Well, that's funny because I remember a story about you that you made the newspaper because you were dating somebody's niece, and what happened with that?
No, I was in Stringfellow's discotheque.
Okay.
And we used to hang out in the champagne room every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And every time I went to the bathroom, this blonde girl was there, and she was beautiful. She had a bouncer. I told him to go fuck himself, basically. So now, by the 3rd time I meet her down there, I said to her, is your husband Italian? Because her husband was with her.
Oh.
So I said, is your husband Italian? She said, no. I said, you want to get out of here? She said, yeah. So just like in the movie Goodfellas, I went through the kitchen, into the limo, and disappeared for 3 days. Then I get the beep on the thing, 911, 911. They said, don't stop anywhere. Just come to the club.
Right.
And they threw all the newspapers right at me when I got there. It says, mob muscle band, only known as Steve, kidnaps girl from plush discotheque.
And wasn't she related to some boss or something or no?
No.
Oh,
She
okay,
was
just-
just married to an Indian.
Right. Oh my God. So it just came out in the paper that you were a kidnapper.
And we were calling for ransom.
Oh God.
So now she goes back home. Next day in the paper, girl out partying with gangster for 3 days. She stood up.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you didn't get the kidnapping pinch.
And I wound up getting 2 cases of Cristal for the publicity. And he had to make a public apology to Peter. So it all wound up pretty good.
It worked out good. So you tend to have those problems with women. That 5 girls at the house wasn't a problem. That must have been a lot of fun.
No, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. So, you know, again, going back there, so you remember, I guess that was a good time. I don't know if you partied with the drugs. I'm not asking you that, but probably drinking and things like that.
No, listen, I was an animal. I was out all the time. I had the fringe benefits of being,
Right. Being a top guy. You were one of the top guys leading the place.
yep.
It's amazing. Do you regret it?
I don't regret anything. Anything I did, I don't regret. I'd do the same again.
You do it the same. As in, no changes.
No changes.
You don't think you could have made some changes that maybe might have saved the place?
Nothing could have saved the place. It had nothing to do with us.
Right. And there was some politicians involved, if I remember right, that were affording you protection to do what you were doing. Not you specifically, but
The
the
club.
place, the club. And where were they at the end of the day?
They flipped on us.
Typical.
They flipped.
Right. So they're the ones that
When the
gave you-
feds were done with us, they stood up and said, nobody spoke to us about anything. That's a privileged license. And they took the joint away. Took his license away just like that. The people that he put there,
That's amazing.
16 guys, 16 families, down to the ground for no reason. And they came in after us too. They
Right.
came in 150 strong, right after that Twin Towers, because they had that new law.
Patriot law. Yeah, it's like the RICO law in the 80s.
They stood there with M16 to every guy's head with a red dot on their forehead. I said, what are we going to do? Shoot you with our can openers? Well, you're dangerous guys. And they were there for 4 or 5 hours.
And the people that were protecting you were the ones that said you were dangerous guys now.
They flipped.
That's amazing.
All the politicians went against us.
But this town, I guess, from way back then, Vegas, was known for politicians working with guys like you.
Small town.
But it changed. It changed. The mob guys were kicked out. Corporations took over.
And that was the end of the felons.
Right. So now it's the corporate world.
It's
like
a corporate
everything else.
world. You can't even get an apartment if you really want one on your name. It spits it right out.
Yeah. I've got a cousin that works here that we'll leave his name out, that when he first put in his application, it was turned down because his father was a bookmaker like 40, 50 years previous.
They go that far back now.
Yeah. But at one time, it would have been a welcome addition.
It was very welcome here. Just the place to come if you were a felon.
Amazing.
And now you're just a second-class citizen, if that much.
Right.
So it got tough.
And how come you never latched on with another club? I mean, with that reputation you have, there's so many. I'm driving around here, I see so many cabarets.
I did hook up with a club or two, but the big ones offered me jobs in New York. My kids were too small
Right.
to go back because I was heated up. So I went to clubs and I'd work, and the feds would call every day and say, "Is there a manager job open today?" And oh, why? Oh, Steve Presby is going to get fired from drugs or this or that, and they harassed him every day. I did work in a couple of clubs.
So, yeah, and obviously that couldn't go on. That's harassment.
They harassed me everywhere I went,
Amazing.
in my own driveway. And I didn't bother nobody.
Yeah, and you weren't really responsible for that whole mess there.
That was the bosses,
Mhm.
Rick, whatever he did, put a church somewhere, shouldn't have put it.
Yeah.
When you have a cabaret license, no church can be in a certain amount of area to thwart you. Or the property value will go from, let's say, 500,000 to 6,000. So he put a church between Treasures and us.
So nobody would want the building.
Right. By the time he took it down, he had made an enemy
Right.
that
It's greed.
sat with Bill Clinton in Washington.
Wow. It goes back to greed all the time.
Sure.
Being greedy, make stupid decisions like that or foolish decisions.
And as many clubs as opened up, we just got busier. That's all. Because they made it a round robin. Everybody went everywhere.
Right. And if you had the best party, they kept coming back, and you guys obviously did. How long of a run did this place have?
Well, I was there about 16 years, but they had it about 8 years before that, 9 years before that.
25 years.
It would have been there now. Still would have been there.
Amazing.
Money that was coming out of there was ridiculous.
And the guys that got arrested for that final, the guy that fell and became a paraplegic, did they get big time?
The only one who got was one guy, Bobby. He got about 4 or 5 years. He didn't deserve it.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't deserve it.
Nah.
But,
He took the fall.
as far as the feds go, that's not big time anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
40 years is
So-
now.
So 4 years.
Everything has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, you don't want to get trapped with the feds.
No.
There's very few ways out.
Oh, 98 or 99% of their ratio is
Convictions.
from rats.
Yeah. Right? No,
They
definitely.
1% is trial.
And you had said something about your mother had gotten hurt.
My mother had been in the same business I was in. And I kind of told her not to bring out all at once when somebody comes for something. And she had a lot of wise guys on the list too.
Right.
And they took her out. She had a kilo of cocaine, and somebody shot her. It's hard to talk about, but
Fatally?
right in her apartment, they shot her in the head.
Oh, my God. I never knew that, Steve.
I try to keep it quiet.
Yeah, I'm sure that's hard to talk about. My God.
But I had the argument with her the night before
Oh, boy.
about bringing out, a whole kilo of cocaine for an ounce. And whoever was around her took her out.
Unbelievable.
In those days, it was
Yeah.
50 grand.
Right. That is incredible.
So I
That's-
started
that's-
moving around and trying to find out who did it.
Right.
And then I was told to let it go.
I didn't know that about your mom.
I don't talk about it.
Well, maybe I still should have heard somewhere, I would think. But again, we were in different directions. So, wow. What's your future like? You going to stay here? You going to move somewhere else?
I have kids,
Right.
and I have parents that are 92 and 88. And even though they've left to come here and left us, I feel like I can't leave them.
Right. Oh, your father.
I really don't, truthfully, I don't like it here no more. Be honest with you. I'd go to Florida. And I might do it 6 months there, 6 months here.
The Sunshine State.
Yeah, I love it there. I had a chance to go to work there too, years ago.
Same type of place.
Well, it was great, craziest too. Rick had opened up one in Florida. He took me there. I started seeing what was going on, a lot of wise guys and stuff, and I said, I'm going back to Vegas.
Same thing.
Mob TV. Welcome.
So where was it in Florida?
It was on
Miami.
A1A,
Miami, Lauderdale.
Lauderdale.
Okay.
It used to
Yeah,
be where the old Lavoque Unique was.
Yep.
So I don't know if that was Oakland Park Boulevard or,
Yeah, Oakland Park.
yeah, right around there.
We used to go there for spring break, you and I.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah, we had some
too.
fun there. Yeah.
The Limelight.
You got no regrets, even though it was a rocky road up and down.
I would do it again. But that's me. There's kids out there that should be doing it.
That's what makes these stories compelling. There's got to be a message in it.
I got lucky. Okay, I was dealing big time. And I only got caught with a little piece. And I never had anything on my name, so they couldn't find an apartment or anything else.
Mhm.
Now, if I would get caught with a key, it would have been 20, 30 years.
Right.
So that's why I said in the beginning of the conversation, that saved my life because it made me think more. And now I didn't go back into the fire anymore. I came out here and went into the fire, which was a better deal. So
Right.
I got lucky.
You got lucky. A lot of kids won't get lucky.
Right.
Right. If they try to take those same steps into the drug business and
And today's a whole different ballgame.
right.
Cops are different yet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would think that these clubs, there's probably a lot more control over the call girls.
Well, it's very hard to control them. Once they walk out that door,
They're on their own.
it's all on their own and can't follow everybody.
Right. And there was a time it was legal here. Is it still legal? I wouldn't even know.
It's not legal out here.
In Vegas anymore.
Not in
There was a
Vegas.
time where it was, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
They would, if they were smart, they would make it legal.
well,
They would control it.
Yeah. That's one of those issues, like same thing with drugs and
You know, these
gambling.
girls that go up in hotel rooms never
Mhm.
come down.
Right.
Nobody knows they're up there.
Yeah, I'm sure that, yeah, there's an argument both ways for all of that. So same thing with gambling and drugs. I know that Crazy Horse was named well.
There's so much that went on that nobody knows about that could be said. And my opinion is people miss it a lot.
Right.
So
Well, you are not looking to make a deal with the government or anything like that. So it's harder for you to get into the details. I understand that, of the actual, if there were murders and if there were beatings, but we know there was, you said
there
that
was
there
beatings. Of
yeah,
course there was. There's beatings, there's prostitution. It goes with every club. Drugs.
right.
They came in strong on us and they found a half a joint in the whole place.
How much money, if you're not uncomfortable, were you making in your heyday? As
My
a top
heyday?
guy, as a top guy in there, get a piece of different things.
150, 200,000 a year, maybe something. I never really kept track for a reason, but
So it was VP money,
yeah,
right? Vice president of a corporation.
I paid to pay taxes on it, and then I got the manager's job, and they closed us down 4 months later. On the books, I was making $6,000 a week.
On the books.
On the books,
So that's $300K.
I didn't get that far.
Right. Right.
I was only there a couple months,
Yeah.
but it's a great business. The money's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's still all around here. You see.
Well, they're all closed down now because of the virus, but they'll be open again.
Yeah. That affected the
whole world.
Yeah, the whole world.
Just people come here for sin shows, and there's none of it, any of it. It's tough. But there'll always be the Crazy Horse 2s and places like that.
Like I said, I'm familiar with Studio 54 back in the heyday. And there was every drug, call girls coming in and out of there, movie stars.
We had it all, believe me.
We had it all.
Every movie star came in, every baseball player, football player, all the way down the line. And they felt comfortable.
Yeah, but like us back in Brooklyn, we imploded. We ruined it for ourselves between greed, who wants to be boss. So same thing sort of happened with you guys. The greed blurred their thinking, and ultimately you all got arrested. But you escaped. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this. You escaped, and you don't have to give names or anything, but once again, because of who you knew, not what you knew, and didn't wind up with big time.
No, I wound up with a bracelet on
A bracelet.
because I was in the middle. I just started managing,
Right,
and managers got more time than the other guys did.
right.
But I got lucky, and
And then you had a connection. Somebody knew somebody, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned something about
that I
that.
found out later in life.
You found out later. Okay. Yeah. So you got another lucky break. You got 2 lucky breaks.
You gotta have angels on your shoulders to make it in this business.
I agree. I'm still sitting here, so I'm
here
definitely-
too.
We're blessed
Without a
that
doubt.
we made it through. And like I said, I have a lot of regrets. I definitely have a message and a story to be told. And this show is helping me tell it. And guys like you come on, old friends. And again, it's hard to talk about some of the things. You don't want to hurt anybody or give too much detail.
But we do want to stop the young kids.
Yeah, no, I think that's, I like other people saying that, not me.
I see my son,
Mhm.
he's like trying to lean towards being the tough guy in the street, but it's not him.
Right.
So I got to keep him away.
It's a dead end. So,
Because when he went into middle school, there was 2 bullies. And I warned them that they would come after him, and he knocked both of them out. So now he became like a tough guy.
oh, God.
He came out with a wad of money one day like this. I said, "What's that for?" He said, "My guys gave it to me for my birthday." I said, "My guys? I didn't make you a boss."
Yeah.
So I had to slow him down a
Yeah,
little bit.
definitely. Keep him in check. Well, once again, my friend, I appreciate you coming.
Anytime.
And maybe we can do this again
I
sometime.
hope so.
We'll lead into something bigger and better. But I'm proud of you. It's good to see you again
good to see you
after
too.
all these years. It's been a long time. And for the audience, thank you for watching. And Steve,
Thank you for having me.
take care.
It's been a pleasure.
Mob TV.